Um, Welcome back, everyone. We are all set for our next presentation in the July 29th Accelerant Research Virtual Insights Conference. Next up, we have Dr. COBANOGLU. I hope I got that pretty close.
Absolutely, no problem.
With a really compelling presentation that I'm excited to hear about, and that's using crowdsourcing for market and academic research. That's about it. I'm not going to stand in the way for too long. I'm going to step out of the way and let the presentation get started. I'll circle back for Q&A at the end, but otherwise, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bill, so much. I appreciate you inviting me here. It's a privilege, it's an honor. And you know, I came across to this conference series that you are organizing by Google search, and I myself enjoyed and learned quite a bit from the previous speakers. So then we got met, and I'm happy that I'm also part of it so as well too. So thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my presentation today. Is two pieces. One is I'm going to talk a little bit about the theory part of the using crowdsourcing. Let me share my screen with you so that I can show this to you. I don't think I have a sound, but I'm going to still. So hopefully you can see my presentation now. Yeah, perfect. So this is the way that we title it, best practice for using crowdsourcing platforms for survey research, mainly social sciences. The case of Amazon Mechanical Turk, as we have kind of like made this the title. And I will tell you what that means. You know, one of the things that we do as the social scientist is collect data, obviously, right? Survey research. We do use a lot of it. And I got into academia in 1996. I am 50 years old. At that time, we used to collect our survey data on paper. We would, type, some of you who may be listening this presentation, remember this if you are in my age or even older, that we didn't have the internet, we didn't have these mobile phones, we didn't have Mechanical Turk, Amazon, any of them, no Google, no Facebook. Imagine those days that there was even hardly cell phones. So we were collecting these surveys on a piece of paper. We would mail them. We would wait for 1 week, 2 weeks for the mail to arrive, and then for the respondents to respond. And then it would take 1 or 2 weeks for them you would usually put a self-addressed and self-stamped envelope inside. Again, if you've done it this way, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then you would just code this into a statistical software like SPSS or SAS, and then you would just analyze the data. That's how we did it. Then some people use fax, and then of course 1996, 1997, 2000, let's say the internet became very common to collect data. How did we do it? Before crowdsourcing concept is that we actually emailed people. We invited them, would you please answer my survey? We are doing a research about this. Of course, you go through the IRB, Internal Review Board approvals in your university when you do research. And then after that, you invite people, or now the social media, you put on social media, you hope for people to come. Of course, they are convenience sample in all of them. But then this idea of Uber, what did Uber do? Uber actually introduced the consumers, the passengers with the taxi drivers. It's a midway, right? Same thing with Airbnb. Airbnb introduced the travelers with the people who have extra room or a house to rent. So same idea. Crowdsourcing is actually bringing the people who would take surveys and the researcher who would like survey takers to take the survey to meet them in the middle. So that's what crowdsourcing is actually all about. So I am currently, let me just tell a little bit about myself so you understand where I'm coming from. I am McKibben Endowed Chair Professor in the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management at the University of South Florida. Our school is in the MoMA College of Business. And I also am the director of M3 Center. M3 Center is a center for research for hospital technology and innovation, as you can see here. And we do have a lot of different services that we have. So please feel free to go visit our website, m3center.org. And also when you go into the M3 Center, you will come across with 3 journals, open access journals that we publish, which I invite all of you to submit articles. Journal of Global Business Insights, the first one, and Journal of Global Education and Research, and Journal of Global Hospitality and Tourism. So again, they are open access, 100% free of charge. So, okay, let's get to crowdsourcing. As I introduced you a little bit earlier, it is, if we were to define it, it is defined as the collection of information, opinions, or other types of input from a large number of people, typically via the internet, which may or may not receive financial compensation. So there is different ways. GoFundMe, I'm sure that you know that it's the people who would like to get something, money, donations can get like this, or what was the name of that sign up that you get signatures? I forgot now the name, but there is a variety of different things. The use of internet services for hosting research activities and for creating opportunities for a large population of participants is the type of crowdsourcing that we are interested here. Again, this is for the researchers to be able to do that. And oh, by the way, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to put them in the chat box and Q&A. I'm happy to entertain them while I'm doing this presentation or afterwards, no problem at all. So what is crowdsourcing research? For example, you can have online reviews, forums, Wikipedia, Qualtrics, Mechanical Turk, Craftflower, Prolific Academic. I think this is a new one. So these are all different crowdsourcing tools, so to speak, in terms of research. Mechanical Turk is what we are going to focus today as a case study. You know, it's not because it's the best one, it's because it's the one that I'm familiar. I use Mechanical Turk on a monthly basis. I will explain to you why I am using it and in what conditions. And then we will obviously, there is Qualtrics, for example, which is also a survey software, which I use, by the way, when I'm doing Mechanical Turk as a crowdsourcing for data collection or other forums as well to Craftflower. I didn't use the other ones very well. I didn't use Qualtrics simply because of the cost. Qualtrics is quite expensive as compared to Mechanical Turk. There is ups and downs. This presentation is not about comparing Qualtrics to Mechanical Turk. That could be the maybe topic of another discussion, but crowdsourcing, what can it do for you as a researcher? How could this help you? Okay, what are the advantages? Some of the advantages of crowdsourcing, it offers you a large participation pool. How can you actually find people from all around America, from 50 different states? If you would not use this one, right? It's difficult. You can do it. Social media, snowball, recruitment, you know, you ask people, they ask their friends, and etc. So you can try to get as much as possible, but it's not easy. Of course, it's a streamlined process. Usually it's much quicker. Participant recruitment, study design, data collection is all one. And I'm going to show that to you in the second part of my presentation, because we will do an example actually. Integrated participant compensation system. So you can actually pay to these people directly from Mechanical Turk. So it is almost very easy. I'm going to actually show you it can be easy. And of course, like anything else, it can be easier to detect possible sampling biases in this one. And I will show you some of the best practices. As a matter of fact, we titled this presentation after an article that myself and Muhittin Çavuşoğlu, one of my former students, now my colleague, of course, and Dr. Gözde Türktarhan, we have written an editorial article in the Journal of Global Business Insights, which I will give you the link a little bit later. Feel free to go and look at this. Kind of like what I am telling you here is also listed on that article, even in more detail. And usually it's much less costly, so it's affordable. Again, affordable is a relative term. Like for some people, 50 cents per person may be cheap for a researcher in America, but it can be very expensive for another person in another part of the world. So I'm not going to claim that it's cheap, but again, at least for American standards, it's not too bad. And it's a huge market. I mean, this is really intelligent. Whoever come up with this idea, global crowdsourcing market is expected to $154 million by 2027. So there is a lot of people are using it, not just the researchers, by the way. It's not, when I go into the Mechanical Turk, I'm going to show you different kind of crowdsourcing ideas that you can do, not just collect data. In other words, it's not only to give them a link for them to fill out a survey. There's many other things that you can use this. Market researchers use this. Let's say that you want to produce, create another new item to the market. You want to test the colors, which color is more appealing to the consumers than the other one. You can use crowdsourcing, like Mechanical Turk or Qualtrics or any other tools. So there is many uses of it. Mechanical Turk is actually a startup. I really don't know too much detail about the company, rather than that it was actually a startup, but then it was bought out by Amazon for, probably whoever come up with made good money there. Good for them, right? So it's a crowdsourcing marketplace that makes easier for people like me, researchers, or even businesses to outsource their processes and jobs to a distributed workforce who can perform these tasks virtually. Actually, it's very interesting that Amazon Mechanical Turk is even used by accountants. They scan these receipts, and then these people whom they hire from Amazon Mechanical Turk actually look at that receipt and they enter that into an accounting software. So there's even activities like this one. So it's not just like think about only research, but there is also other parts of it. It's reliable and cost-effective tool. That's some of the advantages of Mechanical Turk, and providing representative data for research in behavioral sciences. This one, let me just qualify what I mean here. Representative data in the sense of general public, right? Mechanical Turk is available in select countries, not all around the world. I think that people from all around the world can sign up to take the surveys, but for you to give the surveys, see, there is a recruiter and there is also a survey taker, right? There are two parts here. Mechanical Turk combines them together. So that's not available in every country, and we'll talk about that as well too in a second when we get there. Or between 2012 and 2017, more than 40% of the studies published in the Journal of Consumer Research, which is a top journal, by the way, use crowdsourcing websites for their data collection. So why I am saying this is that this one, Mechanical Turk or crowdsourcing, if you do it with precautions, like you take the actions to be able to make sure that the data that you collect, fits your study. If you are going to do a study among CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and use Mechanical Turk, I can guarantee you that no journal will ever accept your article, because obviously Mechanical Turk is not a place where CEOs of Fortune 500 companies are going to go and do it for 50 cents, 30 cents. I'm not saying that this is not serious money, but there are people who are doing this as a job. I mean, they are going and taking these surveys on an ongoing basis, making pretty, decent salaries, especially people who are in developing countries. It can really add up. So, but yet, if you take some precautions, which I'm going to explain here, that you can really have this paper accepted by a quite high level of journals. And of course, there are some disadvantages, possibility of unsatisfactory data quality. What I mean by this is that if you were to do it without taking any precautions, that people may just reply to your survey without really their knowledge. So if you're looking for accountants, Mechanical Turk may not be the best place. I'll tell you what is the best kind of demographic of survey takers is general public. If you are going to do a study for general public, American public, United Kingdom public, or world public, this is great. What I mean by this, general consumers. So if you're doing a study about travel, this is perfect. If you're doing a study about shoppers, online shoppers, Mechanical Turk is perfect. If you are going to test an advertisement, let's say YouTube advertisement, you've got 6 seconds of advertisement versus 15 seconds with the option of skip, like I'm making this up, by the way. And then you want to find out which one is more appealing to the consumers. This is perfect. But if you have a very specialized sample, it may not be as perfect. Lack of monitoring and data quality issues is another disadvantage. However, even though I list this as a disadvantage, but there is steps that you can take to make it better. So, and we'll talk about that in a second. Issues of trust and quality of the research findings is an issue for some journals. But again, if you were to take some of these precautions, you may get rid of these trust and the quality issues. And of course, these people are experienced survey takers. So you need to, again, take some precautions to be able to make sure that they are indeed reading your questions. So you need to build in your questions in such a way that you ensure that they are cheaters, speeders, fake respondents are all part of the real world. They are here. And most likely, if you were to do a survey, collect data with Mechanical Turk or other crowdsourcing tools, chances are very high that you are going to get some of these people, and you hopefully will build your survey in such a way that you're going to get rid of them. You want to kind of like clear them out, filter them out, so that your data is pure and nice, as accurate, as reliable, as trustable as possible. So some of the best practices, MTurk worker, as we have said, respondent selection. So you need to, just like I've mentioned earlier, that you need to actually select the right sample for crowdsourcing. So whoever that is, again, I will repeat one more time. Once I didn't tell you in the beginning, but I am serving as the editor of 3 different journals. One of them is Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Technology, which is published by Emerald, and it's an SSCI journal, indexed in SSCI and Scopus with 4.2 impact factor. We do get crowdsourcing articles. What I mean is that we get articles that have used crowdsourcing as a data collection method. So obviously, I am doing this presentation. That means that I probably accept those articles, which is no problem. However, I look at the sample. So if the sample is very specific and then they use Mechanical Turk, that might be a problem, right? So if you are looking for people who have been to a small island in Indonesia, chances are high, not high, that you are going to find them in Mechanical Turk, right? Because it's from all across the way. But if you are looking for people who visited a country, let's say Turkey, that might be a place where you can do it. But again, you need to do some actions. You need to ask some filter questions to be able to identify if these people are really telling the truth or not. So one of them could be potentially is to first ask, have you ever been to Turkey, for example? I'll just give as an example. If they say yes, and then ask them specific questions that will get into the details. What is the city that you have visited, or cities? That could be one. What was the date, and what was the top one activity? Even though this may not be part of your survey, you may not be interested in this, but yet if you ask those questions, and if somebody is a cheater, they will probably write unmeaningful things there, which you can then filter out later. In terms of survey validity, we are going to talk to you. I'm going to show you a couple of examples. Actually, you know what? Why don't I show you what I do? I collect data from American travelers on a monthly basis, which I call American Traveler Confidence Survey. So each month, I do this since July 2020. It's because of COVID. So I collect data, and I use Mechanical Turk for it. And I will actually show you what I do and how I do it in few seconds. Researchers should consider their study population, as we have said. And also you can use selection tool in the software. So if you want to get people from America, in Mechanical Turk, there's a way that you can say, I want only American people to, or the people in America to answer this. You can select the location. Once you select the location, you can even look at the IP addresses, because not everybody is honest. They may say that they live in America. They may have an American email like Gmail, for example, but yet they may live in other countries. So then you look at your IP address. There is a tool which I use, the IP address. Then if there's outside of the United States, we just simply delete them out from there. So also consider the demographics of workers on Mechanical Turk, which must reflect the study target population. We advise that you use multiple screening tools that identify quality respondents and avoid problematic response patterns, and include screening questions in different places. And I will show them in my study how I do it. Some of the best practices I have, I ask the same question 2 different times in two different parts of the survey to ensure that people actually do tell me the truth that gives me. And for example, just to give an example, instead of asking, how experienced are you with accounting practices? Let's say you're doing something about accounting. You know, this question, the first one that I'm talking about here, let me see if I can actually outline this one. So instead of asking about this particular question here, that a better question is which of the following is a component of an income statement. So in other words, if these people are already in accounting, they will understand that this question that you're asking them. So this is one example. Survey validity: conduct a pilot survey from Mechanical Turk workers to identify, fix any potential data quality and programming problems before you actually collect the entire. Multiple validity check tools into the survey. Be aware of internet bots, because these people, you know, the cheaters are also intelligent, that they are using internet bot, which is a robot. It's software, it's automated task. It just like randomly select the survey results. So there are, again, something that you can do in Qualtrics survey when you design the software that will detect the internet bots, which is bot detector. You can do that, and that will also eliminate that problem. You can also do time limit options. For example, if your survey takes about 10 minutes on average, and if somebody replied that survey in 2 minutes or 1 minute, you can easily find it out and then get rid of them. Again, that's one of the other things that you do to increase the validity in your survey. And obviously, you can collect data in different days and times during the week to collect more diverse and representative data. And once you collect the data, definitely you need to clean, because there are some people who do not read the questions, and you can get rid of them, especially the ones that you built. Like, for example, one of my favorite is I ask people in the beginning of the survey is how old they are. I ask them their age. So they write 30, 35, 40, 42, whatever it is. And obviously, if they were to write anything younger than 18, that means that that's not good, because there are also rules is that you have to be over 18. And you can also put that in your survey that you have to be over 18 to take the survey. So if anybody is less than, you definitely delete them as well. And I asked them their age. Then I asked them also at the end of the survey, what year were they born? So if somebody, we are in 2021, so if somebody said that they are 20 years old, so they need to say that 2021, so they need to be born 2001, right? If they are say that they are 20 years old. So then I compare that age with that one. So if they said 20 years old, but they put 1970 as their birthday, so that means that they lied somewhere. They gave incorrect information at some point of time. So you will actually get rid of that particular. And I always say the rule of thumb is that collect 30% more data than needed. If you need 300 data, you need to collect about 400, because you are going to clean it up. Usually about 30% goes into the waste basket. And calculating a response rate for the samples using mechanical turk is not possible, because you really don't know. It's not like you have a population or sample of 1,000 people, and then you got 200 surveys back, so you say 20%. However, it's possible to calculate active response rate. It can be calculated as the raw response numbers deducted from all screening and validity check question results. So let's say that you got 1,000, and you're going to see that actually I usually get about 1,200, but I end up about 1,950 clean data. Here is the article that I mentioned to you that myself, Dr. Çavuşoğlu and Dr. Türktarhan has written. This is an editorial, it's not a peer-reviewed article, but you can actually find it. I will give you even easier website than this one. You can either scan this QR code to go there, or you can go to m3center.org, m3center.org, and actually access to this data, this article as well from there. And so let's see it in action. So I'm gonna show you how this actually works. So let me stop share my screen, and I'm gonna actually share you again another of my screen in a different way. So let's do it. I'm gonna actually go and click on Igniter. Okay, so let me go back to Zoom. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, please let me know. Happy to entertain them. Okay, so I am here. The first thing that I'm gonna do, if I would like to create a crowdsourcing survey research, is to do my survey, right? To create my survey. You can create your survey in different ways. Qualtrics is one way. You can do it in SurveyMonkey, Google Forms, you name it. My university has a site license for Qualtrics. For that reason, I use Qualtrics. Actually, I used to use Qualtrics even when it came in the beginning. I think it was like 10, 15 years ago, even more maybe. I remember as, so I am going to, okay, here's Qualtrics, right? So this is this research that I'm going on right now. There is quite a bit of them. So let me just show you Traveler confidence index survey that I'm using, right? As you see right now, I've got about 9,000 responses, and I've done it different versions. So here's my questions, right? This is my IRB. My university requires us to go through a approval process for our surveys. And then we ask the people, where do they stay, reside, in which state, to be able to understand. Look at here. This is one of the validity questions that I mentioned earlier. What is your age? Remember this question. What is your age? I asked them, if you look, again, if you know Qualtrics, obviously I'm not going to go in Qualtrics to teach you how to create a Qualtrics survey here. Although that's another great topic for those of you who may not know, but I'm forcing this response to the people. I want them to give a number between 18 to 100. So I don't accept anything less than 18. That means that if they are not going to take it. So more than 100. So if they were to, let's say, fake a number, okay, let's just for the sake of example, that somebody is really, really 20 years old, they put here 25. And then if we go to the end of the survey, okay, and here I ask this question that I asked earlier, again, one more time. Let me find that question. What is your birth year? You see, this is exactly the same question that I asked earlier, but in two different formats. This is the birth year. So if somebody said 20, they need to put 2001 here. I compare this data with each other. If they are 1 to 2 years apart from each other, I accept them, because some people may be born in December, some people may be born in January. For them, maybe they are 20 years old, or they were born in 2001 or 2000 or 2002, right? Depending upon the months, 1 or 2 years, variance from these two numbers is not a problem, right? They can do that. And also, what else we do? Again, this is from there. What else I do is that I also add, for example, another attention check question. What is 2 plus 2? Please choose 5 from the choices below. Again, I am checking to see if these people are reading the questions in its entirety. And you can also put other questions similar to this one in there, such as this one. What's the color of banana? Choose red. One more time that you are doing this, because you are paying money to these people, that you want them to actually do it. So there is other ones as well, but I'm not going to go over them with you. But if you were to design a new survey, there is one thing that I want to show you, which is actually you need to create this survey. So let me just create a test survey here for Mechanical Turk. I just click on create project. There is also, you need to connect the survey. In other words, when the people, the survey takers in Mechanical Turk, take your survey, they need to get some kind of a proof that they have done it, which is actually the code that you are going to display here. I do not suggest that you display a static code. I recommend that you show them a dynamic code. It's a code that changes on an ongoing basis, so that you can actually really check. Because again, these people are very clever. If they recognize that you are using a static code, they can open many different accounts in Mechanical Turk and simply add that code without taking the survey, hence getting the money from you. And how much are you going to pay to these people? I usually make my payments based on how long they are going to spend and based on the hourly rate in America. So if you were to, let's say, I think it's $8.50 in America, I'm not sure, but I usually calculate from $10 an hour. So if they're going to work for 10 hours, so you calculate and you pay accordingly. But this particular, let's say that you are writing the question, you are just telling people that welcome to this survey, and you are asking them that please answer the questions below carefully. Of course, if your university requires you to put that language that you've seen earlier, as my university does, you can put that carefully, and you start writing your questions. So whatever that your questions are, multiple choice. Are you, for example, a online consumer, or do you shop anything online? Let's say that you are looking for online shoppers. Okay, so you will say yes here, no, and then there's yes or no question, right? You can easily come here, and I can actually create a this Qualtics have changed the way that they do it. So I'm going to put a skip logic here if I wanted to. If people said yes, no is selected. No, not skip, actually. I should say, is it skip? Sorry. Okay, let me do one more question here. I will do, how often do you purchase something online? Let's assume, okay, this is just a make-up questions, just to build a survey for you so that you can understand somebody. Yeah, trivial coding for exist for a bot. This may not be like somebody, John has written a comment there, age, check, and year. That's not easy to do for a bot, right? Bot can put there a random number, but they will not be able to read that that's the birth year and the age that I'm asking. Also, I didn't show you in the previous article, but I'm the survey, but I'm gonna show you here. Let's say once a week. Again, I really don't write these questions knowingly, right? Once a month. This may not be the best scale, but whatever that is. So if somebody were to do not qualify for your choice, then you can. So skip this question is, how often do you purchase something? If they say yes, hold on a second. I want to send these people, display logic. Okay. Here we go. Welcome. Do you shop online? If they say no, then it's selected. Then this, no. Sorry about this. Qualtics changed this formatting earlier. I am trying to remember, how do you send people who say, I think it's the skip logic. So this is is selected. Not really. Anyway, don't worry about that. That's really not the point here. So somebody again asked for a bot. You can also add a question here, which is called CAPTCHA verification. This is something that robots are not gonna say. Please confirm that you are not a robot. When you put this question, actually, let me show you what it will look like so you can see. I just click on publish and I come here and I'm gonna copy this link just to show you. Here it is, how it looks. So this is the survey we just created. You shop online and you see, please confirm that you're not a robot. So it shows you these kind of things. You need to check all the traffic lights one. So if that's correct, then you can confirm that you are not a robot, right? So this is something that you do. But this is the easy part of it. You all know how to create a survey. Then we need to connect this to Mechanical Turk. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to Mechanical Turk. The first thing that you need to do for Mechanical Turk is actually to create a create an account as a requester. You can also be a worker if that's interesting to you. It's a very good learning experience to see other surveys, other researchers, what they are looking. If you're a worker, there's a approval process for it, so you need to do it. But we are more interested in the requester, so I'm going to click on requester. I am already in there, but if you are not, you need to create a new Amazon account. So you need to do this, and after you create this Amazon account, that you will be able to actually log into Mechanical Turk. So I'm going to just do this. CIHAN@usf.edu is one I use just for this to show you. Here it is. It looks like this. This is a brand new page, Mechanical Turk. This is how it looks. You see, I was telling you earlier that you can actually do many different things in Mechanical Turk by using this crowdsourcing population. So what we are doing here, we are trying to create a project for the survey takers to be interested and take this survey. So you can do sentiment analysis. You can ask them things, intent detection. This is about language. You can do data collection, website classification. You can ask them to go to a website, ask them to do classification or collect data or data collect. Go and ask them to collect, for example, information from hotel websites or businesses, whatever that might be. There is a lot of tasks, right? These are, I think they call it HIT, human intelligent tasks. So something that humans will do. Image contains, image tagging. I am really not too familiar with different types of these research. The one that I'm the most familiar is survey link. So you can actually create a project. So I come here, I click on create a new project. So here I'm gonna create a new project. So I will click in here. Let me look at my timing. I wanna make sure that, so let's do one quickly, okay? So we'll say test survey. This is, they don't see this, you see it. So answer a survey, this is what they are gonna see. This portion, when I say they, that's the survey takers. So all these crowd out there who are willing to take surveys for a fee, right? You need to give them a reward. You need to give them an incentive, which is usually the money here, which comes to them as an Amazon gift card. So answer a survey about your travel behavior. Imagine, again, I'm just making this up, right? So I am doing this about travel, your travel behavior. So you put the keywords here if they are interested in this. Maybe you can put travel, you can put hotel, restaurant, if your question will have questions about that. Okay, here's the important part. How much do you want to give to these people for the survey that they are going to take for you? Again, remember how long it will take. The survey is going to impact how much you're going to pay. If a survey is going to take 10 to 12 minutes, usually something about 40 cents, 50 cents is reliable. Don't overpay, don't underpay, right? So this is something that you can test over the time. That's why it's important to do a pilot first, right? Just candidly take your survey or ask others to take the survey. How long does it take? If it takes 4 minutes, maybe paying 15 cents might be enough, right? Or 20 cents, whatever that might be. Let's say that I'm gonna pay 40 cents. How many responses do you want? If this is the first time that you're doing it, it might be a good idea to do a simple survey for 50 people. But if this is something that you're going to collect the data for full study and you are pretty comfortable about it, that you may want to put here 500 if you're looking for 400 data, clean data, for whatever that is. So if you are doing a general American public, you need about 1,000 data. So I put 1,200. How long you're going to give them? 1 hour. I usually do not touch these default. Here is the important one, worker requirements. This particular one, if you want their masters, so if you want really qualified people, some of the survey takers become masters after they go through different surveys and they get satisfactory points from the survey givers, right? The requester in this, as they call it. So obviously, if you do masters, it's going to cost you more money. I usually do not do this because I clean my data. Instead, I go and put the location. Let's say that I am interested in only people from Croatia, if this is what you want. Obviously, how many people are a member of Mechanical Turk from Croatia is another question mark, right? Probably not a very good idea, especially if you do the survey in English. Not only that they need to be on the Mechanical Turk, but they also need to speak. So, so these are the ones that I'm telling you that you need to be careful. So for me, I am pretty comfortable in America. So you can even target a state if you wanted to do so, or you can just do United States or United Kingdom as a country. So here, this is good for me. And also I'm going to add one more thing which is HIT approval rate. So the people who are going to take your survey, you need to approve them. And I'm going to show them to you in a second. If this is the case, if you need to approve them, if you don't approve them, these people are going to get percentage. So you want people who have been approved more 90% of the time. Sometimes people are not approved for good reasons, like not because they cheat. Sometimes they missed the code or something. So that's why I put usually 90%. which will take, this means that it's going to take longer for you to collect data, especially if you don't pay too much money, but it'll make it better. So I go to the next step, survey instructions. This is what people are going to read when they click on your survey. So you will write here, what is the requirements, travel, behavior. So you can just say, in order to take this survey, you must have traveled somewhere in the last 12 months. You can write anything, and you can say that, please note that I usually put this, that there are multiple validity attention check questions in the survey. I write like this. If you do not reply them correctly, you will not get that. And then, of course, you need to put your link there. Do you remember my link here? I'm going to go in here. So here's my data. I clicked on the wrong place. I should have clicked on distributions. So I'm going to get my survey link here. This is my survey link. I'm going to copy this, go back here. So I'm going to put this in here. This is the link that you need to give. And they're going to put the code here. After they take this survey, they're going to take the link here. And how they're going to take the link, I'm going to show you in a second, because we need to give them a code. Obviously, I'm not going to do this one, but then you just simply click on finish. And then after you click on finish, you can just say test survey, and you will be able to publish this batch. If you publish, you need to have money in it. In this account, I don't think I have any money, so I'm not going to actually publish this. I just want to show you what it's going to look like. See, this is the cost. I said I need 1,200 people. I'm going to pay them 40 cents each person. So $480 is going to go to the survey takers. And of course, Amazon Mechanical Turk takes a commission. They have actually a fee. So they take like 16 cents for each of them. And there's more details about pricing. If you're interested, you can look at in these places. For us, it's not matter right now. So of course, you need to put a credit card here for you to be able to make the payment for. See, if I pay somebody 40 cents and 1,200, it's going to cost me $672. Obviously, this is quite a large number. And you may not want to maybe shorter survey, so you may pay less, and there it's going to be. So when people take it, so let me just sign out here, and I will show you. I'm going to log in as CIHAN.org, which is my other account that I usually use to collect data. So here is my confidence. If I go to click on manage, you'll see all the data that I have been collecting. So this is the travel confidence. 1,003 people have collected this, completed this survey, and I can actually see the results here. Right now, I don't see it, but I can actually easily see here as people take it that I will be able to do it. As a matter of fact, we don't have too much time, but now let me go back to Qualtrics. Let me show you how this code is actually processed. So remember, we need to give them a code, right? When these people take, as you remember right now, this is a very simple survey. If anybody wants to take this survey, they're not going to see any code. They will come here. I'm not a robot. Traffic lights. I will click on here. I'm going to verify this, verify, nothing. So how will these people tell you that they've done your survey and get their money? So to do so, there is one way. There's many different ways, right? You can actually put here a question, right? One question. You can say, here is your code for Mechanical Turk. And you can actually do, for example, go into Excel. I'm going to go into Excel. I can actually create random numbers. So here is, I think I clicked too many times. I can click, make some random numbers like this. Some of you may know this code. Okay, here we go. Random number between, for example, I usually put 10,000 and 99,000, 99,999, something like this in between. So you can do it this way. Here is, I'm gonna generate some numbers, okay? This is just to show you, okay? Obviously, you need more numbers than this one, but you can just generate some random numbers, go back to your survey, and copy paste these numbers here. As you can see, there's many. If I were to publish this right now, and it's going to actually show it all numbers together, but I don't want to do that. How I can do this is, let me show you back again. I'm going to randomly show one of them. So I can randomize, choice randomization. I can say only one of them, just randomly one of them. So you can put here 300, 400 codes, and it's going to show only one of them. And let me show you how this works. And I want to put maybe add a page break so that people will not see this code before they answer the survey. Let's see how this works. What I just told you, how it works. This is one way. There is also another way, which I'm going to show you, one tool that you can learn. So I come here, shop online once a week. I'm not a robot. Fire hydrants. So I need to click on all of these to verify myself. And then my code should come. As you see here, people can get this code and put it in there. So there is other ways that you can do it. The way that I do it, I usually put some kind of a name in front of my code, like this one. I usually say, I use concatenate. I don't know if you know this particular tool. Looks like I'm gonna have to wrap up very quickly. So you can actually say CC, and then I can put dash here. Sorry. I can put dash, comma. I can put this number that I take, and then I can put one more code here like this. So this way you can make it like this. I'm gonna put also a minus here. As you can see, I can make my code like this, so it's much easier for you to understand. The number, random number still changes as you see. But in the Mechanical Turk, you can identify that this code is your code without checking that if this is really code or not, right? So once you do this, you can actually come back here and click on the review results as people take it. And then as you see this code, the codes are gonna actually show here as people take it. Then you can just simply click on approve them. If somebody didn't take your survey and they put a gibberish code that doesn't look like this, okay, then you can just simply get rid of them. You can just reject them. One more tool for you, I would like to show you if you are interested even more. I did a very quick job. If you go to mooc.academiacentral.org, which is the MOOC platform that M3 Center does. Here, there is a course about this. It's free course, just like this one, very similar to this one, a little bit more detail. So it's about 2.5 hours in total. So if somebody, any of you, is more interested to learn about crowdsourcing, feel free to go here, register for free, and enroll in this class. You will be able to see much more. You can even take a certificate if you are interested. So this is in a nutshell what Qualtrics Mechanical Turk crowdsourcing is. I'm gonna stop here. We have about 5 minutes to see if anybody have any questions whatsoever. I'm happy to take them if there is any questions. If not, that feel free to experiment with this. It's really good, very effective, works for me for more than about 3-4 years that I'm collecting. I publish papers in some of the top journals by using this, by taking, of course, when you collect the data, you need to clean it up. Like this age one that I told you is a good one. The people that you ask them to answer this way, but they didn't answer. So you clean them up, you get rid of them. So the end data is usually quite reliable. Bill, back to you.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think we're running up against the top of the hour, so not a lot of time for Q&A. we are having some good sidebar conversations in the chat, both in Zoom and on YouTube. Some debate about survey platforms and sharing of best practices. As you mentioned, some of those quality controls that are really important, not just when, tapping into crowdsourcing, but even, expensive purchased sample for jobs as well. The recommendation for any survey that's being executed in any source that you're tapping into, put those quality checks in place, make sure that, you're scrutinizing the data that you're receiving, because the truth is there are bots and manipulators out there trying to game the system.
Exactly.
But no, this is great. I think Liz sort of provided us a bookend in her initial presentation this morning, just talking about overviews and platforms and how to, apply some of this in an organization. CIHAN, this is a great, very, in-depth kind of exploration of one particular way to go about sourcing and, putting some of these best practices into place.
Exactly.
So awesome. Like I said, not much time for Q&A, so we're going to go ahead and wrap. Anyone does have additional questions, feel free to log them in the chat, in the Q&A. We'll make sure that they find their way to CIHAN, and we'll get those answered for you. But this was great. Really, really appreciate the
Thank you,
time.
of course, Bill. And
And
I also share my contact information here, my email, my website, M3 Center website, and the MOOC. If anybody who may be watching this live or from the recording later, that they want to learn more, feel free to go to moocacademiacentral.org and enroll in that course for crowdsourcing, and also our article that you can download from m3center.org.
outstanding. Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for the good work that you're doing.